2023 was great. Wait. 2022 was a great year to say the least. It was one of my most exciting and fun-filled years I've had. It was also a year I dedicated to bettering myself as a person. And as we're approaching the end of 2022, I can say I've learned a lot from that. And I can't get a proper closure without sharing some of the key things I've learned with you guys. Hopefully this will give you some sort of perspective going into the new year. And speaking of perspective, the first thing I want to share with you guys is that perspective is key. You probably heard this everywhere, like you probably heard this a million times, but it is so true. You need to have perspective to understand people better, because without perspective, you're not putting yourself in other people's shoes, you are not unable to visualize like what they're experiencing, and hence you may not be able to understand their feelings too well. That's a simple explanation. Let's just put this into context. Like for example, you meet a person, they're in a bad mood and you don't know that, and you're like, why are they so rude to me? There, what you're missing is perspective. You forgot to put yourself in their shoes to see how they're feeling and why they may be treating you this way. Perspective is very important. It goes very far. Like any scenario you're in or any circumstance you're in, I feel like it can sort of change by you taking the first step to change your mindset. Like a lot of times people think their situation is negative, but they just need to put themselves in another perspective to see like why this may be happening. And a lot of the times it's not as bad as you think. And speaking of that, my next point is to practice gratitude. You probably also heard this from your parents and teachers, but gratitude is very important. I've gone years without practicing gratitude. I'm very honest here. I used to not appreciate the little things and not even the big things sometimes. I know that sounds very bad, but I've learned this year to appreciate like everything that I have. Like even the simplest things, like having the opportunity to go out and travel, or just having the opportunity to wake up. Like that is showing gratitude. Like although you may not be able to have what some people have, there are also people that may not have what you have. So just be thankful of what you have. Count your blessings, count your blessings. That's an easy way to put it. Throughout the whole year, I've just been trying to show gratitude. Like whenever I feel, oh my god, why can't I have this? Or like, damn it, this is kind of bad. I just think of like what other people may be facing and like how some people would really want to be in my position to like own what I have. So it's really about perspective. So like everything comes down to perspective still. And my next point, which is similar to this, is to embrace, don't chase. I just thought of this on the train one time and then I just threw it up on my Instagram story. As simple as it sounds, embrace what you have, don't chase what you don't have, because you never know. This sounds very cliche, but you never know how good of things you have until it's gone. Even a house, some people don't have houses, and like if that's taken away from you, you realize like I should have appreciated it. So it's really about appreciating the little things and appreciating what you have. Again, perspective. Everything I say here is going to be linked to perspective. Nah, I'm kidding. And the next point, which is similar to my first few points, is to not take things for granted. I feel like we've done this so many times before COVID. You know what I'm talking about? Traveling. We all took traveling for granted. We didn't even think it was a luxury. But now, like when COVID hit, I realized how much of a luxury it is, like to even get the opportunity to travel. Some people don't even have the opportunity. And like COVID made it worse. And then I realized that I was kind of ungrateful in the past for the times I've traveled. Like I don't know, I didn't appreciate it as much as I do now. Like when I went to Bali in 2022, literally this year, it was my first time taking an airplane in like 3 years because of COVID. It was a really eye-opening experience. It really made me like appreciate what I have, and like oh, I actually realized that what I'm doing right now is kind of a luxury, and I should really count my blessings again. And the next point is to be present. The only way to not live with regrets is to be present. Like it's kind of hard these days. Everyone's on their phone. You can't really be present. Like even if you're physically present, most of the time you aren't mentally present because like you're so engaged with your phone. You're not actually spending time communicating with others. I'll give you an example. Like traveling, I most of the time, especially because I'm a vlogger, I would say I'm a vlogger, I carry the camera, so I look at the scenery through the lens, technically, like through the viewfinder. I don't actually get to really appreciate what I have in the present until I go back and edit the video. Because like a lot of times we're just, I don't know, I feel like we're too engaged with a lot of other things and we're not actually appreciating and like taking time to slow down. I mean, it's 2022. We need to learn to slow down. It's okay to take things slow sometimes. Appreciate life, like nature and like life itself. Okay, don't know what I'm saying, but like you get my point, right? Oh my god. And the next point is completely unrelated to what I've been talking about, but it's to surround yourself with like-minded people. You heard this many times too. You are the product of your 5 closest friends. I don't really believe that you are what your friends are, but a lot of times you are what your friends are because you will get influenced by them. So like having surround yourself with like-minded people is very important. Like people who push you to achieve your goals and to go further. Like it's very important to have people that will encourage you, that will be there for you, people who you want to become. Because if you surround yourself with like a completely different group of people that are not like pushing yourself for you to become a better person, you are just gonna turn out like them. And if that's not what you want, then go make better friends. It's very simple. Also reminds me of the next point I have, which is you'll become what you watch. Because you consume content, you're subconsciously taking behaviors of people. Like if you consume a lot of negative content, you'll turn out to be a very negative person. It's how it works. Us humans get very easily influenced by a lot of external factors, I would say. So like you keep consuming like negative content and like things that make you feel shitty, you're gonna be a shitty person. You're gonna have a very shit mindset. So like watch things that provide benefit to you. Don't watch things that are just harmful. It's 2022 again. There are a lot of junk out there. We gotta filter for ourselves, see what's best for us, and watch things that will actually inspire us. So for me, on YouTube, I like to watch podcasts because like those inspire me to become a better person, to chase my goals. So I feel like I'd rather do that than to, for instance, just watch a bunch of news or like drama, like whatever is going on on the internet, because like you're just sucking yourself into the loop and then you get negative, and that's no good. And the next point is to learn from your mistakes and don't beat yourself up for it. I learned this the hard way because every time I make a mistake and there's like a visible consequence, I'll get pretty upset because I don't want to bear the consequence. But at the same time, I know what I did wrong. So I'm like, shit, I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that. But sometimes, actually all the time, you can't change what's done. You can only amend what's to come. So like, don't get stuck in the past and get into the loophole of trying to fix your past mistakes when you actually can't. The only thing you can fix, like I said, is how you're going to react next time to this, and don't make the same mistake. Because like getting upset is one thing, but if you don't learn from it, you're gonna make the same mistake and then you're gonna get upset again. So it's like, what's the point? Like I heard these two people, I was at the gym, they were these two like ladies, very wise people. They were saying like how it's pointless to get angry over a mistake. It's like there's no point getting upset or beating yourself up for what you've done. Just accept it, move on, and don't do it next time. Basically, learn from your mistakes. Oh, this ring light is blinding me. But yeah, I've learned it the hard way and I'm still in the process of learning it till now. It's very hard for me, I don't know, I just tend to beat myself up over past mistakes rather than learning from them. Like it's funny because sometimes I just beat myself up in the moment and then like after that I make the same mistake, and that's worse. Of course you should feel bad for like what you've done, but you don't have to like regret it to the point where you put yourself down for it. Alright, anyways, moving on to the next thing. The outcome, it may not be as scary as you imagine it to be. That's kind of deep. A lot of times we have anxiety or like we worry, we have worries about what's to come. Like the point of worrying is because you're scared of the outcome. Like that's the reason we worry. I mean, sometimes the outcome may be bad, but most of the time you're just worrying and like getting yourself worked up when the outcome is actually not as bad as it seems. This happened to me so many times this year. Like I go into this thinking that, oh my god, I'm not gonna be able to do this, like this is gonna be hard. Like for example, exams, right? I'm like, before I even start this year, like this is gonna be impossible, no way I'm gonna do this. I survived through, and then now I'm worrying about next year again. God damn. A lot of times, and like sometimes if I'm going to new places, because new places kind of scare me a little bit, like if there are new people, because like I'm kind of anxious meeting new people, and then I'll be like, damn, what if they're gonna think this? A lot of time I tell myself, okay, but like in the moment you just keep worrying, but then like after that, and then you realize that was kind of stupid. I didn't have to worry. What was there to worry about? Wasn't that bad actually. And speaking of anxiety, I feel like I'm linking all these points, but speaking of anxiety, I realized that it's okay to go out by yourself. I don't know, there's something about going out by myself that is very unsettling to me. I don't know why. Because I think it's because I see a lot of people with their friends, a lot of people my age, my peers, they're with their friends, or yeah, they're with their friends basically. I'm here all alone because I don't have friends. I barely hang out with friends this year. Most of the time I go out by myself. I hate that. I don't know why, but I'm learning that that's okay. Like basically, it's okay because like you're spending quality time with yourself. You're not spending time with people, but you're spending time with yourself. It's not that bad actually. It's like, it's kind of peaceful, I realize. You get to spend alone time, which a lot of people long for, but like I'm too lonely. There's something I just can't wrap my head around. Next thing is to go for it before it's too late. Please. Go for it. Don't wait here, because like if you wait, nothing's gonna do change. Like if you have a goal, like something you want to achieve, like go for it. Like what's holding you back? Like if it's failures, right? Think of what's the worst that could happen. Again, outcome may not be as bad. So like go for it. Like I know a lot of people are held back by failures and stuff, which is why they don't start like business, or like some people don't even start their YouTube channels, or like start whatever they like doing because they're worried about the outcome. Normally there's no repercussions that these things bear, so like it's worth the try. A lot of things are worth the try. Like you never know whether you'll succeed or not unless you try. Like if it doesn't, so what? You try. If not, you'll always be stuck in this place thinking that what if I try this, what if I try this? Instead of having that urge, the failure is still better than that urge. Go for it. Which brings me on to my next point. Taking the first step is one of the best things you can do sometimes. A lot of times we don't go because like we feel very unmotivated, or like we're worried. Either we're worried about the outcome, or we're very unmotivated to do something. But like once you get started, it will be easier, like much easier, I promise you. I've learned this the hard way kind of. Throughout the year, I did so many things. I procrastinated quite a lot this year, whether that be my schoolwork or like editing my videos. But once I get started, all the creativity, all the ideas, basically everything starts to flow. I'm like, why didn't I do this earlier? Again, if you don't take the first step, what are you gonna do? You're gonna just be stuck here the whole time. You are not gonna achieve what you want to. To be productive, you gotta take the first step, even if you don't feel like it. One really good example of this would be going to the gym. I started going to the gym this year, if you guys are unaware. It's one of the best decisions I made. Like I always tell people, it's one of the best decisions I could ever make, or like one of the best decisions of 2022, because like, you know, active lifestyle and things. Before going to the gym, I was very unwilling to do so because I was worried. Like, I haven't been into the gym before. I should make a fitness video. That's for another time. I never stepped into the gym before, so like, I was pretty worried. Like the first time I went, the first few times I went, but like subsequently, after taking the first few steps, going for the first few times, it actually is pretty liberating. It's as cliche as it sounds, it's true. After you take the leap, like the leap is one of the hardest things you can do. Like imagine the staircase, the first step is like high, and then after that is like more smooth going, it's more smooth sailing. So do that, and I encourage all of you to try this next year because it would really help you achieve what you want. And speaking of that, what happens if you actually fail? Okay, next point is okay to reroute. Like a lot of times we want to persevere and we keep doing the same thing when there's no success being seen. For example, my old YouTube channel, I've been stuck at like 100 plus subscribers for the past 2 years, and there was not much growth, which is why I decided to make this channel. Still not much growth, but I'm seeing more growth and like more potential. Sometimes you can't keep doing things in the same direction when you see that there's no change. Don't keep like trying the same thing. Like if imagine you're solving a puzzle, you keep doing the same thing, like you keep doing the same thing over and over again, it's not going to work sometimes. So it's best to reroute and try a different way. Like it is okay to restart. It is perfectly fine. Like, sometimes restarting can be one of the most refreshing things too. Like maybe you were just stuck like mentally too, and like that gives you like opens up a bunch more possibilities. Okay, I'm rambling on, but like you get what I mean. Like for my YouTube, I decided to start a new channel, and I would say that's been pretty good so far, and like also one of the best decisions I've made in 2022. Oh, we came to the end. I'm so unprepared. But that's basically it for what I've learned in 2022. Hopefully these can help you with your New Year's. Like put some of these into perspective. Like putting perspective into your everyday life. That could help you feel a little bit more happy and a bit less miserable. I know this is kind of like a weird ass talking serious ass video, but 2023 I'm gonna post more bangers. Like that's what I strive for every year. Like I strive to improve. Like I was here, and then the next year I just go higher and higher, and then like after that you'll see a big difference between like this year and the future. However, I'll be kind of busy next year, so like bear in mind less uploads. I'll try to make the quality higher for each one, because like quality matters over quantity. I'm tired. Okay, it's 11 plus and this ring light is shining directly in my face, and I'm sweaty wearing a hoodie. Happy New Year! Hope 2023 treats you well. Okay, peace. That was very cringe, and I don't mean to ever do that again. Sorry.